Well, it's 3:09 on January 28, 2024. Nikki Haley is still in the race to beat Donald Trump. I've been saying for weeks he's going to beat the stuffing out of him, and nobody believes me or no one wants to agree with me. Turns out, sure enough, I start making videos about this morning saying I'm going to explain how Nikki Haley's going to win the nomination, and I turn on YouTube, and in the hours of this afternoon, I've seen many videos about how many people who pay a lot more attention to the news than I do are saying, yeah, Nikki Haley's going to beat Donald Trump, or at least it's turning around. Like, this is the end of Trumpism. So thank you, E. Carroll. Thank you, all the lawyers and prosecutors and everybody who helped bring this moment about. And thank you even to Nikki Haley for bringing this moment about. Hopefully she's just a stand-in and the person who will force Joe Biden to endorse a progressive woman to beat her, because that's the only way to beat her in the general. But hopefully she won't win the presidency, but she'll take out Trump, which is really important for the country, for the world. And I'll explain how this is going to happen, as I've, again, heard some other people, some other pundits finally admitting that because he lost the defamation case and has to pay so much money, it's not so much that he has to pay the money, because he can fight that in appeals and not have to cough up the money, although he will eventually. And he'll have to pay some just to make the appeals, apparently. Have to put like a surety on the appeal process. Anyway, he will have to pay some money. The point is that people won't lend him money anymore, that his whole reputation about being a safe person to lend or give money to will disappear, as will his whole reputation as a rich person, because that's how rich people do it, is borrowing money. He won't be able to get any more money because every time he opens his mouth, E. Carroll will get another, billion dollars out of him eventually if he keeps talking, and he can't stop himself. But that's not the only fault. This will just be seen as the turning point in history when Trump's going down. He's maxed out his supporters. There's nobody who's ever going to support Trump who isn't already supporting him. And a lot of those people will fall away for various reasons, mostly because of the unpopularity of him. Just like I made this point months ago about how you might not remember it or you might not be old enough, but George W. Bush had everybody putting W, the president, car stickers on their car where it said W, the president. Then they peeled those stickers off right quick. So as popular, because he was really popular back in those days, you just wouldn't believe it now. So as popular as Trump is now, in the future, people won't believe it, and people won't want to associate with him. It'll be the opposite of people saying they all went to the concert that they didn't go to, or that everybody was at Woodstock. It'll be like, no, I was never a Trumper. I was a never Trumper. And right now that Trump has made it even worse by saying, hey, if you donate to Nikki Haley, I'll bar you from donating to me, all these donors are making a big splash and getting a lot of influence and making it seem really popular to say, I'm proud to never be in the Trump camp again, in the Trump clan again. And that's a good thing to be proud of. It's a good thing for people to be distinguishing themselves from, because everything Trump stands for is evil and wrong. The problem with Nikki Haley is, of course, she doesn't find any fault with the other things he stands for. She's trying to curry favor with that base. So she recently said, my only problem with Donald Trump is he's going to be in jail, and Russia's going to see that, and Iran's going to see that, and Korea's going to see that. If that's your only problem, you're not Nazi enough, because Trump's a Nazi. Your problem with Trump should be that he's a Nazi, and you should be not a Nazi in order to distinguish yourself. So the Republican base isn't going to go that far. The Republican donor class isn't going to go that far as to try to distinguish himself, although that's going to be an effect. It's going to be a helpful effect that people will point out reasons why they don't want to support Trump. He's just going to make it worse, fighting everybody on his way down, make it worse for himself, make it better for the country, because more and more people will want to disassociate with Trump. So mark my words, this is going to happen. Nikki Haley's going to be your nominee, which is why I hope that the Biden camp sees this coming and knows they have to switch horses. They're just planning it as like a surprise trick that if Biden endorses AOC or Jasmine Crockett, the country will be behind her for sure. And with Biden's endorsement, he redeems himself somewhat. Most importantly, we get a real American president who's anti-Nazi enough to arrest Trump and to stop this whole plan. Otherwise, Nikki Haley would win. She would beat Biden easily because he lost all his support from supporting the genocide in Gaza. That's the situation where we're at right now, but I just wanted to go ahead and call it out before everybody else finishes calling out or everyone else sees it as true, that once you poke through the myth of the inevitability of Trump, like the inevitability of Hillary, and if you think about it, same team there, if you poke through that myth of their inevitability, and especially when the popularity switches, everybody's going to be rushing to abandon Trump and rushing to embrace Nikki Haley and saying that they would have always wanted it that way. And Trump's just going to make it worse for himself on the way down until he's down and out and gone. And Putin's plan is foiled. Now, I've always wished that just real American heroes would have arrested Trump and foiled Putin's plan, put Putin's puppy in the pound a long time ago. I think that'd be the best way to end the war in Ukraine, ultimately the best way to end the war in Israel too. But ending Putin's plan through Trump is good, so thank you to Nikki Haley for doing that. It is now probably 3-12, something like that, and Nikki Haley's still in the race. So Trump continues to lose and will only lose harder and more from here on out. Thanks for watching, and again, let's talk about and support the idea of AOC or Jasmine Crockett or some good progressive woman to be our next president, because that's the way to save America and the world, and it's the way to finally finish off Trumpism for good and forever, and to start showing for the first time that when we go the other direction, it's actually better for everybody. Like, socialism is going to fix everything for everybody and make everybody happier. Even the rich people will be happier to not be ruling over such an oppressive system anymore. So thanks, and hopefully we'll make this happen. But yeah, thanks even to Nikki Haley for beating Trump. Somebody had to do it, and thanks to all these donors who are sending a message, as well as the money, that we don't want Trump and we don't want some gangster kleptocracy class here like Putin's got running in Russia. We want America back. So thanks, and AOC 24.